Welcome to the Echo Sportscast.
I'm Paul McLean.
And I'm Dave Dale. Today we get into our sixth episode, and it's all about the NDA's regular season action wrapping up. And they're about to start their playoffs, which actually start today and tonight with the football, and next week with the girls basketball and boys volleyball. But first, I'd like to thank our sponsor for our sportscast. Today's is brought to you by Casey's.
This weekend, make your way to Casey's Restaurant in North Bay for an unforgettable get-together. Dive into our delicious appetizers and enjoy the best drafts in town. It's the perfect spot to unwind, catch up with friends, and savor great flavors. Don't miss out on the fun. Join us at Casey's for a weekend filled with good food, great drinks, and even better company.
We're going to just head right off into football because that's what's happening today. And I'll recap. We do have some video of the Chippewa Ravens winning their first junior football game against Franco last Friday.
Very exciting.
Yeah, I was there for the first half, and Chippewa was up 27-0, and they're cruising. And I took off, and I was going to go to another game. Scollard was playing West Ferris over there, and I find out Franco stormed back in the second half and got 24 points and made a game of it. So both teams were looking for their first win.
Well, and yeah, that sounds really exciting. Like just the score and knowing what everybody's been through at Chippewa, bringing that program back. It's really exciting for them to get that kind of a nice validation for everybody's hard work.
Yeah, and they rematched today because they're fourth and fifth in their five-team loop. So they have a quarterfinal today. It's going to be on the Chippewa field, it looks like, at 2 o'clock. So that should be a real big boost for the new Ravens fans, the brand, the school. They can celebrate on their own home turf, and it'll probably be wet and soggy and muddy, and great for football.
Yes, exactly. Also, is it kind of weather's not so great in North Bay? Weather's beautiful down here in Niagara Falls.
By the time you get back, this is Wednesday, it's going to be raining and crappy for the next few days.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. That is football weather. It's going to get a lot of dirt on the shirts and get everybody in the football mood. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of kids happy to get out of school early to go cheer on the Ravens.
Yeah, for sure. And I think at that game, you'll probably see some Scollard and West Ferris juniors because they clashed last Friday. They were the unbeaten teams trying to make sure one of them wanted to come out of it with a solid record. And it turns out Scollard overcame West Ferris. I was there for the first part of the game again. It was 7-3 at the half when I left because I was heading to another game. And that's what the final score was, 7-3 Scollard. So they ended up undefeated, and Ferris has to play a semifinal.
It'll be October 30th, so a scary pre-Halloween clash between both those teams, and it'll be at Steve Omichel Sports Complex, Mike O'Shea Field at 12:30. So we'll carry on here. So in senior football, so Dave, you've got video from last Friday's match between undefeated Algonquin Barons and the Trojans were also at Omichel. Went as expected, with the Trojans dealing with strong offensive line that sets up many different weapons on the ground and in the air. And it's not much fun playing against Barons defense either, with some of those athletic big guys gunning for sacks and making it hard to go down the middle.
Yeah, they're a tough team to beat, but I think nobody's going to go in up against them thinking they can't beat them, but they're going to be a tough team. So the semifinal action between Scollard and Ferris goes tonight, 7 o'clock. It'll be at Kandari Field, and it should be a good game. The last one was closer than this, was further than the score actually showed. There's a 13-point spread, but I think from my recollection, their starting quarterback, Marietti, was hurt, so they put in their second guy, and Trojans started to come back. So they do have spirit.
That's all you can ask for at this time of year. So it's good that they're still fighting and nobody's going to give up.
Well, Ferris is playing the spoiler here on Scollard's attempt to repeat. And Algonquin's just sitting there. They don't care who's coming. They're ready for it.
Letting them beat each other up first.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, once the semifinals are finished, the senior final and the junior final are set up. The senior goes November 1st at 7 o'clock at Michelle. It's going to be against Algonquin and the winner between Scollard and Ferris. The junior final is actually November 7th at 4 p.m. And
that field will be determined by who's playing in the game, I guess, after the semifinals get back.
Yeah, so there we go.
In NDA girls basketball, Dave, you interviewed Sean Plamondon, the coach of the Chippewa Ravens junior team, after a solid win against a scrappy Franco CTA squad. You attended for the end of the second quarter, second half, the video showing Franco wasn't giving up despite commanding 10-point lead for the Ravens.
Yeah, actually a really cool game. Because there was a couple players on Franco, like they cheered every time they had a basket. They loud and proud, and they were on a 12-point comeback, and they're not going away. I enjoyed my conversation with Sean. Actually, we after the interview, we talked even more about sports coverage and how it was and how we'd like to see it and all the different nuances that have changed things over the days.
And again, just more great coaches putting in the time and helping give these kids that amazing high school sporting experience.
Yeah, he's been around for a long time, and we were talking about some of the evolution before and then after COVID and how things are going. But it looks like girls basketball is on an upswing. Now, you guys just played Franco, a feisty team, but you were well in control there.
Yeah, we were. They gave us, we were short a couple players. They were off to cross country, so I wish them well there. But the girls, next person up, the girls that were here, they played a tough game and took to the second half until we started boxing out and being a little more aggressive.
You have a couple very tall girls on your roster. You look like you have a full team. How are you doing this year?
We're doing very well. Actually, we have the same record as Scollard Hall, so I don't know how it's going to shake out for the playoffs, but I think we're either first or second for the season.
Great. And how long have you been coaching with Chippewa?
I've been coaching Chippewa for about 9 years.
So how's this team compare to some of your other teams, and how do you think you're going to fare out against the competition?
Well, first off, the team is quite large. We have 16 players. So I haven't kept 16 players before, but we've had some issues with retaining players at the senior level. And last year and the year before, we were a little bit short and we had to send some junior players up to senior. This is the first year in a while where we've had a full senior squad, and 16 players on a junior squad is quite large, and they all get playing time. So we're hoping for player development and again to have a full senior squad next season.
Any reason for the popularity of basketball right now?
Well, I think it goes in waves. What happened a couple of years ago, maybe COVID had something to do with it. I know the Spartans run really good programs here in North Bay. Maybe from the lack of continuity with the girls program, there was less girls playing basketball in the schools because of that. I know right now that on our team we have 4 Spartans players, and there's a lot of multi-sport athletes. There's some hockey players as well, but I think the numbers for athletes has increased, and also the number of young girls playing basketball in North Bay has increased, so that helps.
And the competition, it looks teams that aren't as developed as others, but they all seem to come to play.
That is a true statement. We just played a tournament in Sturgeon Falls, and good for them. They haven't run a basketball tournament in quite a few years, and there was a lot of teams from out of town. It was a well-run tournament. So Sturgeon Falls is attempting to get their program running, and as you saw tonight, it was a scrappy game, and they played really well, particularly in that third quarter. They hit quite a few shots. And I think there's good league parity. Scollard's strong. Algonquin gave us a really good game last week. Ferris is scrappy and plays well, and they give us a good game. So it's good for the league when you play games and they're close. Blowouts aren't good for anybody. The players that lose are on the losing side, don't develop, and then the team that wins isn't necessarily challenged and doesn't improve, right?
What's next The season's almost over, regular season, and we're heading into playoffs.
So tonight was the last regular season.
Yep.
So we have, for junior girls anyways, there was 5 teams. So there's going to be one quarterfinal game between 4th and 5th place. The winner of that fills in the semifinal and plays first place. That remains to be seen whether it's us or Scollard. So the first semifinal game is November 5th.
In NDA boys volleyball, you caught up with Coach Nancy Cirullo of the Scollard Bears senior team after cruising to a 2-set win over the West Ferris Trojans team, which is kind of in a rebuilding phase. Coach Cirullo said that they will likely finish in the top 3 and are optimistic that they can give the powerhouse Chippewa squad a good game if they see them in the playoffs. And she noted that they took a set from them in a matchup this weekend at the Scarlet and Gold tournament.
Yeah, she was very optimistic. I could see how her team could come together. They have some good spikers, blockers, and they, without seeing them against a really good team like Chippewa that they played in the tournament. And they ended up. She was very optimistic. She ended up taking a set, and she thinks that they might be able to play a spoiler to Chippewa's legendary. 4th Pete, I think they're trying for, or something like that.
Yeah, no, it's constantly coming out of that Chippewa gym with the volleyball. But no, it's nice, and it shows that Scollard's able to kind of play up to the level of competition and really get up for those games.
Strong team. It was hard to tell because I know you're up against West Ferris here, and they're not one of the strongest teams.
My team's actually very good this year. We're holding our own, and I have quite a few grade 12s coming back this year, so I'll be losing a lot next year. But no, I'm very happy with them, and we're having a great year so far.
Were you in the Scarlet Gold this weekend?
We were.
How did that go for you?
Well, we finished in the quarterfinal, but we did Chippewa this year, so far is in first place, and we did take a set off of them.
Okay.
And so we were ecstatic about that, and so hopefully we'll see them in the finals if everything goes well for the semifinals for all of us. So. Yeah,
they look like they might be the team to beat, but you never know what's going to happen.
You never know. The ball is round.
Yeah, right on. Who are your strong team leaders this year?
So I have Will Hanselman, I have Nate Hummel, Jack Oshel, Siegel, and Noah Kosmic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And they've been playing for a while?
They've been playing since grade 9.
So when do the playoffs start? Is that next week or?
Yeah, so the semifinal will start on Wednesday the 30th, October 30th. And then the semifinal will be Tuesday, November 5th. And then the first final game will go November 7th, whoever makes it.
Speaking of the Scarlet and Gold, I caught up with Craig Nodwell a little bit. I don't have a video interview with them, but we were at the Dome, and they were really the first real event that would use the Dome at Canadore.
Well, that's exciting. And it's neat just to see, it'll be fun to see it in its different formations and the different sports that get set up and how it's used. I know we haven't got there for baseball yet, but it will be coming soon, and we're really excited to start getting some stuff scheduled in there. So I can't wait to see how volleyball looks in the Dome.
Yeah, well, actually, I had a little bit of B-roll there. You'll be seeing that, and they had it set up. People were surprised when I told them about it. They got a hardcourt floor? They can do... You know more about it than me. Tell me what they can do at the Dome.
So at the Dome, you have a full-size soccer field, which can be divided into thirds. So, teams would maybe play 7-on-7 volleyball, 7-on-7 soccer across the field, but you could play soccer, you could play football, rugby, ultimate frisbee on that full length, or there are these sort of netted screens that can divide it, and you can have that smaller area. And then in the far end is where this court area is, and that court can be utilized for playing volleyball. I think they have some portable basketball nets that could be used on it. They have portable pickleball nets or tennis nets. I don't think it's the most ideal surface for tennis, but still, it's something you can do indoors. And then just in the last part is a lot of weights and performance training stuff that they're able to do for different classes or teams that rent it. So it's top that off with a couple little classrooms that are big enough to accommodate teams, so that you could or having some coaches in to do coaching clinics and things. It's really a great facility for people that haven't had a chance to check it out. You'll really be amazed when you see everything that's got packed into that spot.
I think the Chamber held its after hours there last night, Thursday night, and it's more and more people are going to get a taste of what the possibilities are there. I still am curious to see what the parking's going to be like when it's full house there.
I'm sure that will be definitely an issue, and whether or not maybe people start. Not that there's a ton of parking at Pete Pelangio, but it's accessible through the path. But yeah, there's not a lot of parking there. Hopefully, this is the beginning of new facilities, throughout the city for sports to kind of help maybe people see the success of this and Canada's ability to get this going, and hopefully this lights a bit of a fire to get some other things going in town.
Sort of a tip for people that are going there during the day and it's busy. Park actually in behind Pete Pelangio and walk through the path, because then you can skip paying in the parking lot there at Canada.
You're right, and you won't have all the students there, so it's good call there. Nice little local feedback.
Today's featured interview is with John Whittet, somebody we both know and appreciate as a friend and associate.
Yeah, really great connection between the two of us. Obviously, you've coached with him and have a great experience with that. And funny enough, he was my first ever basketball coach. So it's a great interview. We had a lot of fun talking to him. A wide range of subjects where we kind of tie everything back around, but it's just great talking football and how he got into teaching and how he got back to North Bay. Plus so much that I think we just kept talking about it. It's a really great interview. It was a lot of fun, and it's one of the reasons I'm really loving doing this.
A lot of the guys that were around and coaching and teaching when he was coach, they gather at Twigs every morning, and I'm sure they're armchair quarterbacks, and they used to talk about John and his decisions on the field all the time, which is a really good sort of lead into our other sponsor, Twigs Coffee Roasters. And it's been around in the community since 1995. Do you go there, Paul?
I love to stop in there because those coffee clubs are some great places to get information and stuff. So on my drive into work, I'm a big fan of actually the peanut butter and banana smoothies. Quick pro tip, you can get whey protein added, so it's the perfect breakfast. Everybody's been asking me if I'm okay. I've been dropping a bit of weight, and it's like, no, I just eaten a little bit better. So that's one of the things that's on my menu. And then I love to stop in and catch up with some of the guys and listen to the coffee talk banter and take off for the rest of my day. But it's a great way to start.
Twigs offers a wide selection of quality beans, fresh roasted in-house every day. Find your favorite specialty drinks at your espresso bar, rejuvenate with freshly squeezed juice, or treat yourself to mouth-watering selections from our gourmet deli.
And don't forget their amazing pizzas.
And irresistible fresh-baked goods, including uncompromising gluten-free options. Twigs has 5 locations to serve you, from North Bay to Sturgeon Falls to Sudbury. Order online for pickup at twigs.ca. And coming soon, you'll be able to order fresh roasted coffee beans direct to your doorstep from our distribution center in North Bay.
Well, let's head to the interview with John and hear what all the coffee crowd's talking about.
Today we have a special guest in my mind, a friend of mine, John Whittet. We coach together. You're like a legend from Scollard coaching, and welcome to the studio.
Well, thank you for having me, both Dave and Paul, and that's quite the introduction, but I appreciate that. But yeah, it was certainly nice. We enjoyed a good amount of time coaching baseball together, and nothing but good memories and lots of respect for you. And Paulie over here, he was the very first basketball team I ever coached. Yep. Paul was on my team. He was a power forward for my basketball team at St. Mary's in Collingwood. So it's nice to be with both of you guys.
Actually, your name came up the other day on Friday. I was at the Scollard Trojans football game.
Yes.
And my number one and only son was standing behind me. And you're not going to like this.
I know exactly what's going to happen.
And so we're watching Scollard pummel West Ferris, and Dylan goes, didn't we just kick the hell out of these guys with a record-breaking 60-0? When was that?
That was Joe's last year. My son was a quarterback, and I still remember that day. Well, I can't say fondly, but it was a very, very tough pill to swallow around our house. I'll tell you that.
I think Dylan embraces that.
Yeah. No, I get it. It's gone both ways. You know what I mean? I remember that was Joe, my son's final year, and he lost in the NDA finals. And the same thing, not to bring, but we beat when West Ferris's coach's son was playing. We beat them in that game. So I kind of got to feel what it was like.
Which coach?
Jake. It was Larry and Jake, and we won that game. It was a good game and exciting. But I remember that must have felt terrible. And then I found out myself, that doesn't feel good.
Well, that's great that you can laugh about it, joke about it, and that turnaround. Things come, things go, and that's what you learn in sports. You're up on top, and then you're the mat, right?
Yeah. Well, and that was so exciting. Like when we were talking about guests, and again, a great common connection between Dave and I with yourself, and to talk about it. My wife was giving me, when I was explaining this interview that my first basketball coach was going to be on, she's like, she's not going to talk about you playing basketball because you're not a good basketball player. But we had a ton of fun at St. Mary's. So that was in Collingwood. That was your first teaching job.
Absolutely.
What year?
I can tell you it was 1990.
Okay.
I was 23 years old. And knew really nothing about basketball. I took what I kind of understood hockey. I had 5 people. I had some concepts. We had a bunch of good athletes, and then just kind of figured it out.
Oh, right on.
And how did you end up landing in Collingwood? Like it was...
Oh, yeah, that was, you know what I mean? At that time, it was just very fortunate. I was still in Teachers College, and they were having job fairs at the time, and I was hired in January.
Yeah.
While I was still in Teachers College, they just said, you're going to work for Simcoe County. And my wife, was my fiance at the time. No, she wasn't. She was my girlfriend at the time. She liked skiing.
Yeah.
And I said, well, maybe I'll go to Collingwood.
Yeah.
How long were you there?
I was there 9 years, from 90 to 99, until my return to North Bay, in which, fortuitous, my former football coach, Mike Doyle, he said, we're going to have an opening, a few openings here, and we'd like to bring back some people. Would you be interested? And my wife, we were due for our second child, Joe, who I was just talking about. And, 9 years of experience was a kind of a risky move, but I said, yeah, we'll do that. And we moved back to North Bay in 99. He was born August 22nd. I started working right there in September. Well, actually, I think we started football in August as well. So, and been here, taught at Scollard for 21 years.
Interesting fun fact. I was a regional sports editor covering Simcoe County in 1992. I was with the Thompson chain. It was called Huronia Sunday.
Okay.
And every Saturday, as part of my week, I would go from Midland to Collingwood to Barrie to Aurelio, where we had our head office, and do my deadline for the Sunday edition. And I covered high school sports with you guys.
Well,
Really?
it was elementary.
It was elementary school.
Oh, was that elementary?
It was
okay.
elementary.
Okay.
Absolutely. It was
Yeah.
elementary. And I'm sure there was lots of coverage of the St. Mary's Knights.
No Huskies.
Oh, that's right. Because we stole.
Yeah.
The
St.
from
Mary's
St. Mary's
University.
University. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. And actually, that was amazing. You
Mike
and Mike
Dufour.
Dufour were kind of behind the change. So I think we were the St. Mary's Majestic or something, and we were wearing these royal and
Blue and gold.
Gold or whatever. And they was just tattered old uniforms. And I got to be, I don't know how this happened, but you guys kind of instructed me to go around to the different classrooms, and I got to survey the teachers asking what color they wanted us to change to. And the two options were black and silver, because the LA Kings changeover, all these teams were switching to that. Raiders, like it was cool, it was tough and mean. And then we were also looking at purple and gray, or purple silver, the way Western had it. And you used the line and I've used it so many times since. So it was, you chose purple, and you said it was because it was Donny Osmond's favorite color. And the number of times I've told people I like that because, and you might have actually thrown Prince in there too.
Maybe. I'm a smart aleck.
Big fan of purple. We ended up going black and gold. We were tough. We looked mean.
Yeah.
They were amazing uniforms. We got to pick our numbers. I think we might have even had last names on them. It was super cool.
Well, that was the beginning of your sports
This is actually
career.
Really coming full circle too.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew my interest in uniforms started
Started
way
like
back
that.
then.
Yeah. I mean, and we kind of took the crest or the logo from St. Mary's University, put it on the stuff, and it looked good, and kids felt good about it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there was a lot of pride. That was a great 9 years there. It really was a wonderful. I got to teach both his brothers.
Yeah.
Like it was a real nice family community. We were isolated, so we got to practice at lunch. Like that's what we mean. Like,
Well, because
everybody was
so many kids were bussed in. I lived I could walk to school, so I walked through an apple orchard. But the school, for whatever reason, was built on the outside of town, and it came through. And anyways, everybody else was bussed. So all our practices and stuff for that. We had a lot of fun with, just a great bunch of guys like Jordan DeCoste and Jesse Fox, and we could always win on the small court, but we would always lose the big game on the big court when we ended up playing against Admiral and small town. So all these guys I play hockey with and stuff, and it was a lot of fun.
The glory days from elementary school.
I know. Well, it all starts somewhere.
Yeah.
Founded in 1968, Voyager Aviation is a proud member of our community, providing worldwide aviation services from our headquarters right here in North Bay. If you're looking for a challenge, change, or want to expand your current career in aviation, Voyager is hiring for a wide range of technical and non-technical roles, including pilots, aircraft maintenance personnel, corporate administration, machinists, supply chain professionals, and more. Be part of a workforce that is over 400 strong, supporting humanitarian, government, defense, and civil aviation operations around the world. For a career in aviation and beyond, learn more about open positions and career paths at voyav.com.
Well, I can talk to John all day there. I wish I had a couple of beers, though.
Yeah, it's maybe that'll have to be an after dark podcast that we come up with follow-up interviews and over drinks. But no, it was a lot of fun talking to him, a lot of great memories and some good laughs.
Yeah. Well, maybe a live stream of the World Series, which if you watch the full interview, we make our picks. And we did that last week, so it was before the end here. So it's a bit of a mystery who's still on top. So we're entering the post-secondary portion of our episode with varsity club and recreational sport. And we have an update on the Lakers after attending one of the women's hockey team games last weekend. They were playing TMU last Friday, and I got a bit of B-roll. I actually captured TMU's breakaway goal. A bunch of saves by our Lakers goalie and Nipissing's first goal. They went on to win that game 7-3. I think they're up 2-1 now in the stand as far as their record goes, because they suffered a 4-1 loss to Windsor the next day.
Yeah, I actually got to go to the game on Friday night, and yeah, you're right. They fell behind early and just continued to pepper TMU's goalie, and you could kind of see the offense come out for the women's Lakers team. Like they really poured it on at the end. It was a pretty commanding performance and a strong win, and something that I don't know if how many people are aware of it, but that was actually Darren's first game coaching behind the bench since Butch passed away. So I think it was a pretty emotional game for not only the girls, but obviously for Turk and the whole Turcotte family as well. So it was nice to see them come away with the win, and they are off to a good start in the season. Little blip on the radar with the loss to Windsor, but I'm sure they're ready to get back and get more back in the win column.
I was actually leaving that game after the first period, and as I was going by where Butch normally sits, I looked up to see his empty chair, and it was kind of, I didn't have my Werthers that I normally do when I leave. And,
or a little tap on the chest there. So yeah, well, as we mentioned on the Heritage Moment a couple of weeks back, obviously an icon in the sports community will be missed, and but it was a very nice way to get a win for Butch.
You can follow the Lakers tonight. They're in Windsor on OUA TV, and you can check them out. They have another match against Western on Saturday night. But here at Memorial Gardens, tonight and tomorrow, the struggling men's hockey team, the Lakers, are facing the always tough Western Mustangs in back-to-back contests.
Yeah, the Lakers have had a rough start to the schedule. A lot of some of the best teams. It's a very hard schedule to start with that they've had. So they're currently at 1-5 after tight losses against Brock last weekend. So they dropped 4-2 and 3-2 after having a split against Guelph the weekend before.
The Nipissing Lakers women's soccer team stormed back from a 2-4 deficit in the second round of the playoffs against Queen's Gales, and then they won 6-4, which gave them a little vengeance from last year because Queen's kicked them out of the playoffs on a really good season. They're now 9-3, and they're waiting for winners to know where they're going to go in the third round. So the Nipissing Lakers women's soccer team is still in the hunt for the championship. I also had a chance to go check out some flag football. It wasn't exactly what I was hoping to get. I went Sunday at 11 because the Bulldogs flag football was going to have its women's championship game then. I'm not sure what happened, but I showed up and there was the Pro Sports Management flag football that was going on.
Yeah, I think it's myself. I haven't played flag football probably since I was in elementary school, but I know that it's a sport that's really taking off, and I think it's exciting to see it. And it's a great. I think we talked about that in a past interview too, just with the growth of it and what a fun, exciting sport it can be.
Well, it was co-ed teams playing, and there was some very athletic women and men that have played the game before. But the rules are really friendly. Like you can't even bump into somebody. They're picking each other up. Sorries, it's very non-contact. The refs are right on top of it. They are just they haven't even started their playoffs. So we're going to sort of. Now that the Bulldogs playoffs, I couldn't attend the men's championship game. It looks like Gravel won, and they're a powerhouse in that particular league. But they're done. Right? And I'm not even sure when the women's championship game is going to be. I'm going to find out. On Monday night, I went out to Veterans to check out the fall baseball final series. Canadore Panthers were up 1-0. Like they had beat Eastside Mario's 8-1 in the first game on Sunday. I didn't get to that. So I was expecting or hoping it would all wrap up and we'd have the championship here. But it turns out that Eastside Mario's, they have Jake Tugas. They got this other guy, Cooper, that I think played semi-pro somewhere. And they're a real baseball team for sure. I found out that 8-1 score was an anomaly. It was just one great inning by Canadore. And they were mostly in control, and they won 11-1 against to force Game 3, the final one. The other Canadore Panthers team showed up for the final on Wednesday evening. They steamrolled past Eastside Mario's 10-0 to claim the North Bay Men's Baseball Fall Ball Championship. It was a great game for the Canadore side, probably pretty frustrating for Eastside Mario's. A double by Eric Gettler put Canadore on the board in the bottom of the first. They had another run in the third. Jesse Sagan singled up the middle, making it 3-0. Canadore Panthers scored 5 runs on 5 hits in the bottom of the 5th inning. Jordan Kennedy singled, scoring 1 run. Sagan doubled, scoring 1 run. And Anthony Crisati doubled, scoring 2 runs. And Sam LaForge singled, scoring 1 run. It looks like Eastside Mario's pitching wasn't up to snuff for this game. LaForge stepped on the bump first for the Canadore Panthers. Hurley gave up 4 hits and 0 runs over 6 innings, striking out 6 and walking 3. Jake Tugas stepped up on the bump for Eastside Mario's. The pitcher allowed 10 hits and 8 runs over 5 innings, striking out 7 and walking 4. And we know Jake won't like that result for sure. He's got quite a bit of university varsity baseball under his belt, so that's a tough loss for them. Canadore Panthers piled up 12 hits in the game. Kennedy provided pop in the middle of the lineup and led Canadore Panthers with 3 runs batted in. The infielder went 2 for 3 on the day. Number 7 hitter Sagan showed the depth of Canadore's lineup by leading them with 3 hits and 3 at-bats. Canadore Kotlars and Gettler each collected multiple hits for Canadore Panthers. LaForge and Gettler each stole multiple bases for them too. It was a great game. Well, that wraps up the baseball season for the North Bay Men's League. They've had a good one.
Well, and I know Curtis Winrow, coaching with Canadore, came down to the trade show I'm at after that game on Monday. So he got, I don't know how late he showed up on Monday. I woke up in our hotel room and he was there. I think he got in at 2 a.m. after driving from the game. And then he left this morning to go back to work again Wednesday, and he'll be back at the game. So it's a lot of people moving in a lot of places, but exciting end to the fall baseball season. It's been, again, a bit of a project, I think, that Jacob Brown got going and got off the ground. It's great to see it, and it's been an amazing fall. This weather's unbelievable. So just to have the chance for these guys to keep playing, and as we mentioned on a previous interview, the the NBBA team being in there, those young kids getting that experience that's going to pay dividends down the road. So nice to see this fall season come to an end and another exciting 3-game series coming right down to the wire.
I actually had a chance to talk to a grandmother that was in the stands watching the baseball. She's a big fan. It's the grandmother for Jesse Kirkby and Reese Peru, right? And we were talking about the old way Nugget used to cover, and she misses that section we had with the teams of, every baseball team and every soccer team, and we were kind of reminiscing in the back in the day. So I gave her a card, told her about our sportscast. She hadn't heard about it yet. And we might get a new fan there because she just loves local sports.
Well, and that's fantastic. And, I'm sure it would be interesting just to see all the work that went into collaborating all of those stats and keeping them together to put them into print. But you're right, it is something that's missing, and what we're trying to bring back with that focus on it. So that's great. That's good feedback. I like that.
Well, and I told her, and this is a good segue for this, is that check out our Friday Sportscast, because we have the North Bay District Soccer Club's Excellence Awards. The list here and some photos. They presented to the soccer player who exemplifies true dedication to their team, putting their teammates and coaches first while demonstrating qualities of performance, leadership, attitude, and commitment in both practices and games.
And this is the second year for this program, or having the awards banquet like that. And I know I can tell you from my daughter's experience going, it's really great for the kids they get dressed up and they get to go and have one sort of last meeting together as a team and celebrate their successes. And it's good. I think that's something that's kind of been a little bit lost in some sports. We've moved away from the idea of that banquet, and maybe whether people thought it was old-fashioned. I probably would have put myself in that category as well, but I'm seeing the benefits of it and that idea, again, for those kids to have that sort of special moment and be there with the team. So anyways, without further ado, we're going to be able to list off the winners from all the teams and everybody that was recognized for their efforts. So on the boys' side, in U8, Cohen Johnson. U9 boys, Matt Hodgkins. U10, Cash Hampel. The U11 boys, Tyson Olson.
And in the U12 boys, we have Liam Desjardins and Preston Lyle. U13 boys, Nolan Buchwald. And U14 boys, Matteo Ricciudi. And U17 boys, Cameron Pop.
Over on the girls' side, U9, Lee Clugston. U10 girls, Kennedy Wilkins. U11 girls, Cecilia Thompson. On the U12 girls, Ryan Lamershell.
And U13 girls, Riley Olson. U14 girls, Gabrielle Celebra. And McKenna Linky. And U15 girl, Grace Robertson.
U16 girls, Autumn Langdon. U17 girls, Brooke Gravel. As well, we had 2 Volunteer of the Year Award winners, Anthony DeVono and Carlo Berardi. And the Club Excellence Award went to Brian McTiernan.
He's actually the guy that runs their Facebook page, and that's who I contacted when I saw their post. I said, that'd be excellent for the show.
Oh, good. Well, and I can remember many years ago, Brian managing one of his children's teams and, doing some for those and stuff through the store. So I always enjoyed working with Brian.
Excellent. Well, if any other teams have an awards banquet or league like that, send us an email at editor@northbayecho.ca, and we'll try to put it into the sportscast because it's names and faces. We want people to be celebrated for their efforts as far as athletics go.
So moving on now, we're going to head into our heritage moment.
Yes.
What have you got for us today?
I have an interesting portion of an interview I did with a gentleman named Dan Clement, and he was actually on the North Bay Rough Riders team in 1954, and he has the jacket the Ottawa Rough Riders gave the team because they were a sort of a semi-pro affiliate.
Okay. I did not know that. There you go.
And
learn something new every day.
He's been actually trying to get the museum or the Sports Hall of Fame to take the jacket and display it somewhere and bring some type of heritage background, because people think about the Ticats, but as North Bay's team, and but it came after the Rough Riders.
Okay, well, funny you mentioned at that Lakers game when we were watching, I was situated myself in the bar in a very comfortable stool to watch the game. But behind me, there's a great display case for football in the lounge there, and there's a lot of Mike O'Shea, programs. I think there's a jersey or a jacket, just kind of celebrating Mike's contributions to football and his success. So yeah, maybe there's room to, I know the guys like to rotate out some of the photos at the Hall of Fame, and sometimes in those displays, maybe that's something they could get in there for a little while so people could see it.
Well, the new chair of the Sports Hall of Fame is Tim Lowe, right? And maybe we can get him in on something like that. But you know what I was thinking? If they don't go for it, and in the interim, you know what? I think there's a certain sports store in town that would have excellent place for a jacket of that vintage to be displayed and sort of celebrated. What do you think, Paul?
I think that would be wonderful, and I'll take all the heat from my staff who want to say, where do you think you're going to put that? We don't have any space for anything in here, but no, I would, if we can't, I'll stop by Tim at a coffee shop at Twigs when he's having his little coffee time. And then if that doesn't work, then I'll find a way to display it proudly, even if it has to be in my office. But we'll make sure to get that out and get it some recognition.
Let's get something going for Dan, because he's 91. We had an excellent conversation. I know we're just going to play a little bit of a clip here to sort of give people an idea, but the full interview was well, maybe it was more important to me than anybody else and him, right? But we just sat, we forgot about the cameras. We just had a really kind of cool chat about decades of sport, what sport means, what athletes get out of it, and how it shapes us as adults and moves on to how we run our careers and families.
Well, and I have a lot of time for that. I just, the things you can learn, the things that, kind of get forgotten by time. And then when you have that chance to sit down and listen to the stories, sometimes the most, it's amazing, I guess, those things that have the long lasting memory. It's not always what you think it was going to be. It could be sort of a funny situation, and it just sticks with you, and it has a special place. So that's great. I love that stuff.
Yeah, actually, that team, the Rough Riders, they fielded teams from 54 to 63. So they filled a decade of sports history in North Bay that's very interesting. And he talked about some of the guys he played with, most of whom have passed along. And this interview, I think, is just the full sort of picture of what we're talking about every week.
All right, well, without further ado, let's go listen to the interview.
We have a special guest today, Dan Clement. Thank you for coming to the studio.
Very pleased to be here with you.
He's going to take us back to a day that, in a time, not everybody remembers as well as he does, and be able to share that with us. As far as football goes, a lot of people right now are familiar with the Bulldogs, and then other people were familiar with the Ticats. We're going to go a little bit before that, and Dan's going to talk to us about the Northern Ontario Rugby Football Union that was renamed the NFC Northern Football Conference, that commenced in 1954 with 4 teams, including the North Bay Rough Riders,
that's correct,
Sudbury Hard Rocks, Kirkland Lake Alouettes, and the Tri-Town Raiders. And Dan actually has one of the original jackets, and he's going to tell us all about it. You'll see it right here on the screen. Dan, I'm really happy that you came to tell the story about the Rough Riders and your experience with them, and to bring the jacket. And I know it's been years that you've been trying to donate the jacket to an entity that would display it as part of the history of North Bay. Tell me about the history of the Rough Riders.
Well, the history of Rough Riders, as mentioned, is actually commenced in 1954. It came about because a lot of us had just finished high school and high school football, and we still loved to play the sport, and it was the fall of the year, what are we going to do? And it was actually generated through Britt Jessup, who was the managing editor of the sports section of the North Bay Nugget, when the North Bay Nugget was a full nugget. So from there, yes, and we found out that, yes, there were other locations, other players in other communities. And so 54, we started and we played our very first game against the Sudbury Hard Rocks. We lost that game, I think it was 23-10 or some score like this. And then it just grew from there. So in 1955, the North Bay Rough Rider, the name Rough Rider, arrived through the sponsorship, if you want to use the word sponsorship, of the CFL Ottawa Rough Riders. We became affiliated with the Ottawa Rough Riders on a semi-professional footing. They presented jackets to the 1955 North Bay team, and hence the name Rough Riders. And then from there, the name has changed, of course, over the years. So we started in 54 with some exhibition games. We didn't have any equipment to speak of. We obtained our equipment through the generosity of the local high schools. In North Bay, we had the two. We had Scollard Hall, and we also had the NBCI-NVS, North Bay Collegiate Institute. Through the generosity of their head coaches of the sports elements in these two high schools, we were able to borrow equipment. 55, we became a little more professional as related to what we would be wearing to play football.
How old were you at this time in 1955?
Most of us would be about 18 years old. Yeah. 18, 19, in that area.
Which high school did you play for? Or go to?
Yeah, North Bay Collegiate, NBCI, yes. Yeah. And our arch rivals was the Scollard Hall because we only had the two high schools. So some of the players we played against became teammates on the Rough Riders. Yes, but that's basically how we obtained our equipment through the generosity of the high schools.
Who were some of the players on the team that you can remember?
Well, we had 4 brother acts. They were called Morrises. Josh and Alan, and then we had the Desmond Field and his brother Alvin, and then we had the LaBrusse brothers, Morris, or Mo, is known as Mo, and Edgar LaBrusse. And then we had the McKees, and I don't believe they were brothers, but were products of 2 uncles, I guess. And Dave McKee actually carried on to a professional career and started out with the Rough Riders and was drafted and made it was actually the Hamilton Tiger Cats as the team that he played for. And Dave and I played in the backfield and also returned kickoffs.
Well, that's our 6th Sportscast, Paul, and I'm kind of interested in hearing a little bit more about, just real quick, because most people don't get this far. How's it going in the sports world for you? You were just down south at a conference.
Yeah, so we didn't lead with this. I'm sitting in a backdrop. I'm at the Niagara Falls Convention Center right now at our Source for Sports trading show. So we are last time I was away, I was in Nashville looking at a preview of hockey equipment from Bauer. I'm now at the place where everybody's here with all of our hockey stuff, and all of the Source for Sports stores from North America are here. So we're, planning our stuff for next year. We're having marketing meetings. We're talking about just better ways to improve our business and how to, meet the needs of our customers. So that's on the heels of coming down to a Buffalo Bills game on Sunday, which we had a great time at. Came down on Saturday, rented a trailer in a tailgate, stayed overnight Saturday, woke up to the tailgate happening, went to the game, stayed overnight one more night, and then I got dropped off here. I'm heading back to North Bay, and I should be home by 6 o'clock on Wednesday night. 6 o'clock Thursday morning, I'm on a bus to Lake Placid with my daughter's U13 team. So by the time this is on air, hopefully we're up a couple games in our tournament in Lake Placid, and I'll get back to sleep in my bed maybe sometime Sunday night. So anyways, it's been a fun ride. This is what I get to do for sports. I consider I am so lucky to do what I do. I enjoy the time with my kids, getting to be a part of the sports that they're doing, and doing all this. It's busy. People say, I can't believe how busy you are. And I just think, I've got a limited run, and then they'll be done with sports, and I'll be missing it. So I'm trying to enjoy every minute while I can.
My hat is off to you, and I hope you enjoy it. Enjoy it for us, the rest of us that have already done that, and we have some good memories, but we're glad and we're not doing it.
Yes, exactly. I'll try and set it up for the future people, but it's just getting wilder and wilder, I think, out here. But anyways, it's great, and thank you guys for accommodating and getting me in on the time slot and making this work. But yeah, another great podcast. We listened to our interview with Rachel on the way down to the Buffalo game. Well, while she was in the car, the girls thought it was really funny and good, but we really enjoyed it, and I'm enjoying the interviews and our back and forth and trying to find our rhythm. So yeah, this is great. That was a long outro too.
Thanks for joining in with us, folks, and sign up for the newsletter, northbayecho.ca.
Hi, I'm Natasha Laframboise, sales representative with the Laframboise team at Realty Executives Local Group Inc. Brokerage. We are a local real estate team here in North Bay. Our team of sales representatives, Matt Laframboise, Phil Seguin, and Adam Legros, are ready to help you through the buying and selling experience. We have been providing service to the North Bay and area community for over 17 years. Our goal is to provide knowledge, support, and guidance in order to prepare your home for sale, bring it to market using multiple selling strategies, and get it sold. As a home buyer, we have 2 buyer's agents ready to help you find your home sweet home. If you'd like to know more, check us out on our website, laframboiseteam.ca. We are always happy to help.